Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. I'm going to show you today the process of swapping a carburetor out on these Kohler Courge 20 motors. So this is a pretty simple job. You don't need a whole lot of tools. You're going to start by taking your air filter cover off here. I've already done most of these steps. And then you're going to have your air filter here that comes out. You can, if you've got this little sponge type deal going on, that foam, you can leave that in. Next, we're going to take a 10mm socket and we're going to take these two nuts off here. I've already got them loose. I'll back those off. Alright, those are out of our way here. Set those aside. And next you're going to take a either 8mm socket or a 5/16, and there is a bolt right up top here. Right here, this is the one you want to take out. Go ahead and back that screw out. Or bolt. I've already got this one undone. That's what it looks like. Set that to the side, and now your filter housing can come off. Now we do have a breather tube here that just pops out of the back. You can see it right here. So that just pops out like that. There's your filter housing. So the carb is now loose here, and what you want to do now is go ahead and unplug your fuel solenoid. And you don't want to just do it here because on the back side there's a ground cable that runs up to this little bolt. So you want to undo it here at the bottom. Just got to wiggle that out of there. There it is. Set that to the side. Next we're going to want to take our fuel line off. And I do have a shutoff valve off camera here to stop the flow of fuel. If you don't have that, if you've got a pair of needle nose vice grips, just go ahead and pinch that fuel line and it will keep most of the gas from spilling. We're going to undo one fuel clamp here, get that out of the way. And now we can get this hose off. There's our fuel hose. Set that around here somewhere. And now the carburetor is ready to come off. And we've now got to get our choke rod and throttle rod out off of here. You can call it a cable if you want, but this is not a cable, so. To get those off of there, we will go ahead and pull our carburetor off. And the shape of these rods is almost like an S. It does 90 here, goes down and has another 90. So what you want to do, you can try working both of them. I like to start with the choke. One thing to note, there is a spring on the throttle side here that clamps in or hooks into a little hole here. I'm going to pop that off. You can see that hook, and it just went right here. So I like starting with this choke side. You just got to kind of finagle this thing out of there. You lift up, kind of rotate it, and then pull out. Now that worked. Both of them ended up coming out right there. Let me see if I can focus. You can see the shape, that kind of S shape that I'm talking about for both of those. So here's the old carburetor. It's actually, I swapped this one on here already, but it had an issue with the air screw. It just wasn't running right. So we've got another one we're going to try. Now we're going to swap this one on. Make sure that your fuel inlet is pointing towards your fuel tank. And we can go ahead and start. I'm going to start with the throttle cable. Put that back in. Same kind of deal. Put it there, kind of rotate it up, and then take this spring and get that back on. It's easier to kind of grab the spring where it's coiled up here, stretch it, and then just guide it into that hole. Maybe. All right, spring's on, time for our throttle. Not throttle, choke. All right, those are on. Now we can slide our carburetor back on. And now we're just going to do the reverse of what we've already done. Get our fuel solenoid hooked up. I'm not quite sure which way this one goes. Not even quite sure it matters. Alright, we got that on. Slide the carburetor on. We will hook up our fuel line. Move our clamp back. And now we have to put our air filter housing back on. We are going to put our breather tube back in where it went. And then line our holes up here and slide the housing back on. You know what? I might be missing a gasket here. Okay. No, I'm not. It looks like it's got a little ridge that seals this up here. If you got a gasket, it doesn't hurt to put it on. Maybe that's part of my problem. I'm going to go find a gasket. I will mention there is a gasket back here already. You just keep that one there. So I do have a gasket for this cover. I'll go ahead and put that on. Gasket. Now we'll throw our cover on. And then we can put our two 10mm nuts back on. And then we can put our air filter back in. Put the cover back on. Now this top one, you'll notice it's got a stud here. I'll try to show you. This is the top. It's got a stud that has to pass through this little opening and line up. So you just got to find that. And then the bottom just screws on down here. And there you go. You've successfully swapped your carburetor out on a Kohler Courge. One thing that I did have to do, I did have to make a little adjustment on this carburetor. The air screw is right here on the front. And from Amazon, because this is just one of the cheap carburetors, that air screw was backed out like 4 turns. And the engine was missing real bad. Not sounding great. I ran it all the way in and turned it out about 1 full turn, and that seemed to be the sweet spot for this engine. Just run it in while the engine's running, and then turn it a half turn at a time, and see. You're just gonna have to kind of listen to that engine. Make sure that you watch yourself on the muffler if you've got this set up, because it gets hot. All right, guys, thanks for watching.